is News Laundry. We have with us today Shekhar Kapur. Shekhar was a big hit when he did Mr. India.
Yeah, starting with Masoom and then
Masoom was a completely different kind of film, and then Mr. India was true Bollywood. Great fun, very funny, but still had that undercurrent of basic humanity running through it. It was quite spectacular. And then we've heard that you've been working on Kala Pani. Yesterday we were interviewing Vishal Bhardwaj about cinema today. He also mentioned that there are great filmmakers in this country, and he mentioned you. He said Shekhar Kapur. And not enough films are being made by people like him because people are going more for the cheap shot, the quick shot. What do you think? Is he right?
Oh no, I think he's right, but that's not the reason Pani is not being made. Pani is actually being usurped by Hollywood, and I've been just fighting a battle to keep creative control over it.
What is that about?
That's about the fact that because films are getting more and more expensive, that's the problem. As they're getting more expensive, when I made Masoom, it was made for 12 lakhs.
Yeah.
You know, even taking into account inflation, Masoom should be what, a crore, 10 times,
Yeah.
20 times, 2 crores? Masoom today, people say it's going to cost 6 or 7 crores. So if you make it, it's gone out of the, and marketing has gone out of the roof. If there was a good film, Masoom, for example, came out and it failed the first week. It failed halfway through the second week. At the end of the second week, people realized there's a film called Masoom out which they should go see. And then there was nothing stopping it. Here, nowadays, marketing costs are so huge. The cost of showing a film is so huge that if your film doesn't do well in the first 2 days, it's gone. It's over. So that's the problem.
But hasn't that also flopped in the sense like Ra 1? Huge cost to make, huge cost in marketing, and it still didn't work.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I remember that time I was shooting something and suddenly people started to disappear off my set. And by the next day, it was all over the world and CNN had it on. So there was still television. But something that happens, I think that there is an energy field that takes place, which is a communication where everybody starts thinking of the same thing.
Yes, you sounded like Deepak Chopra.
Well, it's true. I mean, we all believe that, you know. And Deepak, of course, calls it's called the Akashic thing, and I call it an energy field that happens because there's no other reason for it to happen. But the problem is that the finance doesn't understand that. Finance goes in safety. So they will tell you when you talk about Ravan, whatever happened to it, we made our money back. That's what they'll say to you. That the guarantees of money coming back are based on historical costs, historical experience. So it's not that. But as more and more of these films start to succeed, then people will invest more and more in marketing. I mean, I haven't. So there's a lot of films that are there in India that I haven't seen, but it's not just India. You go to Hollywood, you know what they're saying today? Well, drama doesn't work. Now, what else is storytelling except drama? But nobody wants to make drama anymore. So
what
all
do they
of drama.
say? What works in Hollywood now?
Ride films, entertainment films, Batman, Superman, films, you know, anything.
It sounds pretty lowbrow and.
Well, it is, because so all drama is now being consigned to, which is not a bad audience, actually, and you get really good budgets, is consigned to television, which is not bad. So HBO and other television stations like that are picking up all the drama films. So,
like Mildred Pierce won the Golden Globes,
yeah.
which is all drama. It's not a feel-good story at all.
No, it's not just feel good or feel bad. It's just drama. What do you have? What are you making? Are you making a high-concept ride film? Are you making... I mean, if you look at all the films that are coming out, tentpole films that are coming out in Hollywood, they're all about vampires. They're about spiritual happenings. They're about stories from the Bible expanded into horror. They're horror films. They're, you know...
So do you think Hollywood is actually going through a downward intellectual spiral?
Has been for a long time. The last time Hollywood was up into an intellectual was in the 70s, when there were films made by Scorsese and things that were doing really well. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because those films are still being made, they're still being shown to larger and larger number of people on television, so it doesn't matter. And the filmmakers still are getting fairly decent budgets there. India is a different situation.
So what do you suggest is a solution for India, for great filmmakers who have wonderful stories to tell, are not able to get the financing? And how do you convince the
Vishal constantly makes films. And I don't really believe that's
And
happening.
his regret is that you're not making it.
No, his regret, but me not making films is a completely different reason. I'm just not ready, that's all, and I'm probably going through this, like every creative person, you go through, oh my God, am I going to get into that pain again? Am I going to get pregnant again? It's like a woman saying, do I really need to have another child?
Oh, but you always do.
Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah, I know.
You don't question it.
Yeah, no, you do, But before you actually get into it, you say, well, should I not? It's a huge argument with yourself.
If you intellectualize and sort of get into should I, shouldn't I, maybe you should just do it,
No,
like sex.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I do it. I wake up with that thought every morning.
Okay.
I should just do it. But there's also a fundamental belief that a film comes together. People say, you made Bandit Queen. I didn't make Bandit Queen. Somebody came to me with an idea, and then a script was made, and then I found an actor. There is something about a film that has the film has its own individuality and its own destiny, and it just comes together. It's not like a painting where you go and you take a brush and say, okay, now I have to paint today. There's a lot of pieces that have to be together. Now, it needs to come together. Now, of course you're right. I should just say, okay, I don't bother about, I get too careful. Will I have creative rights? Will it be made properly? Will the producer consistently not run out of money? Will they take away the film from me? Will somebody else try and cut it? Will they distribute it well? You're absolutely right. You keep asking those questions. But all those questions are based on experience of having gone through that and known what was right of you and what didn't.
Torture for every step.
So that's not it. I think there's enough money in India to make films. I think I would say the blame lies in filmmakers, quite honestly. Right now, no filmmaker can go out and blame the system, because there's such an easy way to subvert the system. People ask me, what do we do to become a filmmaker? I said, what are you doing? You're shooting me with your cell phone, right? You take the cell phone, you take it, you cut it on your computer at home, and you upload it. You are your writer, producer, and there's your film. So why are you not doing that? Have you done that? No, I haven't done that. So then you're not asking me the right question. What you're saying is, how do I become a very well-known filmmaker? The fact is, everybody can make a film. I can go make a film and upload it. There's no problem. The problem is, I want to be paid $10 million to make that film. Then there's a problem. Then you go to the studio and you say, I want, my fee is $10 million or whatever it is. And they say, okay, now if you want us to pay you that fee, then that's a large enough fee for us to tell you what to do, right? That's the problem. The problem is not making a film. Anybody can make a film.
What was the problem with Four Feathers? What went wrong?
Actually, Four Feathers is selling more DVDs than Elizabeth right now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I get a lot more tweets about it.
That's happened consistently with films like, say, Amitabh Bachchan's Nishabd, which completely did not do well.
Yeah.
And now it's become a really cult film, in fact, on DVD.
Four Feathers was a victim of the politics of the time. When we wrote Four Feathers, when I shot Four Feathers, 9/11 hadn't happened.
That's a watershed.
And then
because the focus changed in everything.
Yeah.
In America particularly, in journalism, in the creative fields.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Hurt Locker won the Oscar.
Oh, of course.
Because it reflects the mood of the time.
Absolutely.
Not because it was the best film.
No, I agree. So what happened was, Four Feathers I had shot with the assumption that the audiences in the West had gone through a Vietnam experience and were completely anti-colonial. And so I made an essentially colonial book, and then two other versions that were completely colonial, to the fact that they called the Arab people Fuzzy Wuzzies. Yeah. To that point, I made it completely anti-colonial, to the point where my whole point was the British troops had no reason to be there. And then there was a Mahdi that rose and declared and put a fatwa on the troops and declared a jihad. And I had things about young 16-year-old snipers attacking British troops and then coming out as suicide. So I had suicide things that had never actually happened. Little 16-year-old suicide boys. And then 9/11 happened. And suddenly it was seen as a completely subversive film. I got censored. People thought I was Muslim. I sat in front of a censor board that said, this guy has a beard, he must be Muslim, and he's subverting our own system to speak against us. I didn't. Heath Ledger, because he had a beard, this is absolutely remarkable. I'm forgetting the name of the guy, but maybe you will remember. But when he had a beard, he was because he was a teenage icon, and everybody in the studio said, well, doesn't he look a bit like Jesus Christ? Is that deliberate? When 9/11 happened, if you remember, there was an American guy that got caught in Afghanistan as fighting for the Taliban.
Yeah.
He looked exactly like him. So they said, you see, what he's trying to do is glorify that boy.
The American, like McCarthyism.
Yeah, it was. So there was a lot of problems. They would release it. Can you believe, with Heat's performance, which today all of Heat's fans in his website say is one of his best performances. Bob Richardson, the DP. It's an amazingly shot film. All right, Jamin Hansu is like amazing. I didn't see a single. You know, the company sends these Oscar sort of things out, the videos out to all the people to vote. Not a single one. Now, I think everybody got scared of the film. I think the producers got scared. The producers thought that there would be a backlash. And when I saw the film in the theaters, there was a scene in which the Arab and the whole Mahdi's army came from all sides and attacked. And at one time, it looked like the British were winning. And as they were winning, the Mahdi started to run away. The Mahdi's army started to run away. And as the Mahdi's army started to run away, and the British square, the cavalry came out and charged them, the whole hall applauded. The whole hall applauded. However, in the film I showed that was a trap. And the trap, the Arabs had hidden themselves, they came back and killed them. And the whole hall booed. I knew what was going on. They saw...
So there's a lot of projection in the audience on their own behalf.
They became victims of all that was
now,
happening.
Today you're in a state of where you're, it seems, in hibernation for creativity. You're here at the festival, and I heard you speaking about how it's time for you to sort of introspect and learn, and avaragardi, which is also part of creativity, you said, which is a lovely way to put it. India's full of stories, particularly in the last year. There's been so much in terms of political, social events, and Anna. And you were tweeting about Anna and your support for Anna. And you were saying you were also on the Prime Minister's committee for innovation. And what is it like dealing with them? With this committee? So
it's an advisory board, and it has some. It's co-opted very few politicians into it, but it's an amazing place because some of India's best minds, best scientists, best mathematicians, best economists. Me.
Thank you very, very much. Enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely to see you in this setting.
Thank you.